On This Spot is a very inspiring and thought-provoking episode of Arthur. This is from season 12, episode 5. I don't know if it's the first or second segment because IMDb says it's the second segment. Amazon Prime has it as the first. But either way, 5th episode, 12th season, and Arthur learns about a Native American who used to live in Elwood City and who had a kind of important role to play at one point. And he becomes really enthused by this and he starts to think about local history and he wants to find a plaque to commemorate this individual because he thinks it's of great historical significance. Meanwhile, everybody else is obsessed with the fact that there was a potential sighting of a famous actor in Elwood City. And Arthur's trying to get everybody to sign this petition to get this plaque. They're obsessing over this. Buster's doing his own tours and things. And it's an interesting conversation to have about what's more important, historical significance or things people care about today. Personally, being a big fan of history, I'd say historical significance, but also it's important to live in the present. So I think there's an argument for either way, but I think it's about striking a balance. But that's not necessarily what the episode's about, it's just something that made me think. It's all about thinking about what happened, as the title suggests, on this spot. And I just found it to be really fascinating. Like, I'm sitting watching this, and I thought, okay, what happened on this spot where I am sitting 10 years ago, 40 years ago, 60 years ago? I'm not entirely sure how old the house is that I'm in, but also 100 years ago and 200 years ago, because even if the house wasn't here, the land obviously was. And I find that really interesting. That where you're standing or sitting right now listening to this, who knows what could have happened? And that's what the episode's really all about. It's about looking into the past, acknowledging that there are significant things in history, and even things that seem insignificant are things that have helped to shape where we are today and who we are today. And I really thoroughly enjoyed it. As a big fan of history, I loved Arthur's enthusiasm. I thought it was really infectious, and if it encourages anybody to think about their past or their local history, that's a great thing. I feel like most children at school will do something about local history at some point. Most cities, most towns have a kind of local history centre or even a section in the library, so it's definitely something that everybody can look into in one way or another. And I mean, the internet's got all kinds of information about all kinds of different places. So I really enjoyed it. I thought the progression of the narrative was really enjoyable. It wasn't completely predictable, which I thought worked quite well. It's one that I really thoroughly enjoyed. I think I've said enjoyed far too many times in this discussion, but it sums it up well. It's a really good episode, very inspiring, exceptionally thought-provoking. If you're a fan of history, I think you'll enjoy Arthur's enthusiasm. Definitely one that I'd watch again.